In the previous drawing, we made drawings of a hexagonal nut with front, top and side views of hexagonal nuts. In this very drawing, we want to now make an assembly drawing of a hexagonal nut, a washer, and a hexagonal bolt. Now in this assembly drawing, the only difference, the only addition we are going to make is the hexagonal bolt and the hexagonal, and the washer. Now the whole process is going to be just like the steps we took in drawing the nuts, but we are now introducing the thread length of the thread on the bolt, and then even the length of the bolt itself. Okay, now as you can see on the in the PowerPoint image, you will notice that the washer is showing in the top view. Okay, so let's go to the AutoCAD and make this drawing quickly. So as we can see in assembly, for the top view, we can see the washer. We can see the washer, and then we can see the bolt, which is part 1, and then we can see the nut, which is part 2. Also take note of 2 things in the top view. That's the circles have switched, the concentric circles have switched places. Now the complete circle is on the outside of the incomplete circle. The complete circle is the nominal diameter. Think of it as the diameter of the bolt before the thread was cut on it. That is why it is larger than the inner diameter. Now to the front view, we are going to make projections from the top view to get all the details of the 3 parts in the front view. Now I've drawn my projection lines to help me to draw the front view of the bolt nut washer assembly, but take note that the height of the head in the front view is 0.7 times the nominal diameter. Besides that, we are going to use the same methods we used to draw the curved parts of the nuts in the previous video. We are going to apply the same method to draw the curved parts of the head of the bolt. Finished with the head of the bolt, we'll now continue to draw the full length of the bolt as shown in the PowerPoint slide. Also take note that the bolt length has not been indicated, as it will be the case in most assembly drawings. The length of the bolt will depend on the kind of assembly drawing that you are facing. That is why on this slide, the length of the bolt has not been indicated. So we will choose a length, for example, 60. Right. So just change the layer. Change the layer to outline. Then we'll draw our bolt length. Okay, from here, distance of 60. I mentioned 60. I want to change that to 100 in the vertical direction. Okay, so that works fine. Then back to where we started. I can terminate the line. The next thing will be to draw to show the thread on the bolt. Okay, you can see here in the PowerPoint slide that the depth of the thread is still d/10 on both sides, on the right side of the bolt and then also on the left hand side of the bolt. So let's proceed and draw the thread depth. We'll use a construction line, change layer. I prefer to use layer 0 in this case. So use construction lines. Construction construction line. I'll make projections from the top view at where the thread is shown. Make projections from the top view. Line. It looks like I'll have to draw the center line first. Okay, that's it. Let me try and draw the center line. I'll change this later to reflect the appropriate layer. Okay, so I'll repeat line command. Okay, from here upwards. Let me repeat the same thing on the left side. Here, upwards. Okay. Just have to stretch this other one to all the way up. Okay. I can trim them off later. We can also see that the thread length in the bolt that we are trying to draw has not been stated. So we are free to choose a length of our any length that we want. I want to choose 60 for the thread length. So what I'll do is to just offset where I have to be the end of the bolt through a distance of 60. So offset distance 60. I want to offset this object. Okay. So that gives me the thread length, which is from the end of the bolt to the new line I have drawn here, 60. Now I'll draw inclined lines at an angle of 60 from the line that marks the end or the beginning of the thread where my crosshairs is located. the line that marks the beginning of the thread, the line that is highlighted right now. I'm going to draw a straight line from there. The endpoint is highlighting. Okay, so I'm going to draw a straight line, deactivate auto, to cut the thread at an angle of 60. So that angle activated, so I enter 60. Okay, that works fine. I trim the line, and then I mirror it so it takes effect at the other side. So that works very fine. Okay, now I can trim off the parts of the thread, the two white lines. I can trim off the parts that I don't need. My line is a bit off. I'll have to backtrace Ctrl Z. I've drawn the end of the thread at the wrong place. I have to repeat the whole process again. So my line should have actually started from here. And then go out at 120. Tap to activate angle, so 120. Okay. Now I can mirror. So that has been corrected. I want to trim off the parts of the parts which shouldn't be shown as threads. So that's this part. Okay, so that works fine now. We are almost done with our bolt. Now to the point where we draw the end of the bolt. So the end of the bolt can be flat, and then it can also be rounded. So in the front view, I want to draw a rounded end for my bolt. And as you can see in the drawing in the slide, that we are supposed to use a radius of 1.25 times our D, which is 20. 1.25 times D. And 1.25 times D gives us a radius of 25. So we are going to use circle. Circle is fine. Stand at one end, circle command. Stand at one end. Radius 25. I don't see myself. Okay. Repeat circle. That's my center. Radius of circle 25. Okay, so that now gives us the center where we can stand to draw our arc. This is the center. So I'm going to use arc command. Center start end is fine. This intersection here is our center. This is going to be our start point. The anti-clockwise direction, this is going to be our end point. So we can trim off all the other parts that we don't need, all the parts of the circle that we don't need. At this point we are done with the bolt, which is part 1. We'll just proceed to draw the nuts, which we did in the previous video. So now I have our part 2 in the front view. We proceed to go draw the washer, part 3. Even though the position of the washer along the bolt has not been stated, we can see that the washer has a diameter of 2D, an outer diameter of 2D, and it has also been indicated that it has the washer should have a thickness of 0.2D. So we'll draw a washer anywhere along the length of the bolt. We'll have our washer also ready now, having a thickness of 0.2D, which is 4. I'm going to call that part 3 in the front view. And on the side view, I'm just going to send projections from both the top view of the assembly and the front view of the assembly. Now we have our projections. We'll use the methods that we used to draw the curved surfaces of the bolt and the nut previously, part of which we did in the video on nuts. We are going to use the same method to draw the curved parts of the head of the bolt first on the side view, and then also for the nut on the side view. Now we have part 1, the bolt completed. We'll add on the other parts. So now we have our assembly in all views.